Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. As always, I'm your host, VX Bad Boy. Today, we're going to talk about culture war. I know I'm making a big thing about culture, so stay tuned and see where I go with this one. As I stated, this is about culture war. And we'll start off with for controlling of someone or some entity, you must cause fear. So I'm not going to get you to rile up behind my cause unless I make you afraid that if you don't, you're going to get it. Or I cater to your already fears and I just tell you it's true. And I get into politics and I tell you it's true. And I go on TV and tell you it's true. I got into an argument with my father once about politicians. He's like, he said it on national television, so it has to be the truth. Wow. That is the sheep mentality. And I'm sorry for those you offended by that statement, but if you believe everything you see on TV and you turn it into a cause, sorry, you're a sheep. You're just covered in more wool than most. And it's kind of getting in front of your eyes. Like I said it before, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a liberal, I'm not an independent, I'm nothing. I go by facts, not party lines. Fuck the party. It's not a party if there's no balloons and music, okay? So they rile up the fear you have. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, but more Republicans, because the Republican Party, I'm sorry, is more afraid because they happen to be white, mostly. And they're afraid of losing to the minorities or the, as they would call it, black and brown people. Black and brown people aren't trying to take over. Now, don't get me wrong. There's many black and brown that are trying to get power, like, you know, get into office, become president like Obama, but not to take over like Donald Trump did when he got in office. A white man who's not even a Republican. He's just a money-grubbing hoe. So they prey on the fear, and that's where culture war comes in. Fear brings power, and that's what they want, power. So they work on your fear of race, for one. If you have this fear of the unknown, they play on that too. Yeah, today is no soda. Today is iced tea. They didn't have my soda in BJ, so they went with sweetened iced tea. I'll live. Anyway, so they take your already known fear of the unknown, like whether or not the brown and black people are going to come into your area and kill and rape and drug deal. And most drug dealers I've ever met became drug dealers by no choice of their own. Yes, they obviously made a conscious decision, but they were forced by either the economy, the population, or where they grew up, or literally by the people in the neighborhood. That's not all of them, to be clear. There are other drug dealers who like the bling bling. For you new generation, don't know what bling bling is, shiny jewels. The fancy cars, the girls, the parties, to being able to swing, to get a gun, to do all these things. So to them, that's like, oh, that was their MBA. So not all of them were kind of trapped into that life. I'll give you that. But let me ask you a question. I don't recall ever seeing a cocaine farm, we'll call it that, owned by a black man. The drugs that the minorities and brown and black people are getting are coming from the white man, because only white man can afford the land and the crops and the way to make it. These are multi-billion-dollar companies or organizations, however you want to put it, that are run by blacks. No, whites. Unless you go into the cartels, then it's Mexicans. But in here, the United States, any of these farms are mostly run by whites. So, which one is worse? The minority, black or brown, that deal the drugs from the drug creator, or the drug creator? Because everybody focuses on the drug dealer. The guy who creates it's the drug dealer. He's getting paid for the drug to give it to another lower dealer. And that lower dealer goes lower and lower until it gets to the streets. That's how it's been working for hundreds of years. So how come the farm doesn't get the same responsibility or the same guilt or the same critique as the street dealer? You know why? Because who's doing the critiquing? White people. So white people try to make themselves look better. That's why with all the rioters, even the little boy who shot 2 protesters, which from my understanding they can't even find them right now, they've been protected by other white people in power that see things their way. So all the farmers who create the substance that the lower dealers deal, nobody goes after them, not the media, not in the critiquing of drugs on the streets. How did they get there? It goes back to culture war. One culture versus another. Now, we can start off with Cuomo and Trump. They both got sex scandals out the wazoo. But the Republicans didn't attack Trump. They defended him. Oh, that's locker talk. Boys talk like that in the locker. First off, the son of a bitch wasn't in a locker. Second off, now that Cuomo's being attacked, a Democrat, the Republicans, oh, this, that, third, and the other, they start badgering him being accused. But Trump has as much or more accusers than Cuomo. But Trump's accusers got swept under the rug or paid off, and the Republicans defended it. Why aren't they defending Cuomo, who's under the same scrutiny right now? Because he's a Democrat. And because he turned on Trump, because of a culture war. Cuomo didn't believe in attacking the little man. Cuomo didn't believe in attacking the minorities, brown and black. All the opposites of the things that Donald Trump and the Republican Party stands for. I've still been waiting, and I'll wait until the end of time. I would like for these so-called Republican Americans to show me all the good things that Donald J. piece of shit Trump did for this country. Not did for middle class. Not did for 5 locked up people. Give me one good thing he did for the entire country. And like I said in previous videos, if you're not out for the country, you ain't shit to me. So, for control, you need to make them afraid. Hello? They're already afraid. I'm not that I can recall, and I think I've not walked with a white American or a white person in general in a neighborhood or an area that had majority black and or brown or minority without them clinching, dodging, avoiding, afraid. And the one time that will always stick out in my mind, and it's the funniest thing in the world, I took my baby mama down to Harlem. This chick in the car. Okay, we're in a car. Okay, driving through Harlem. Ducked down so Harlem couldn't see her. She will never live that down. Ever. So, now, she was afraid at that time. She didn't hate blacks or hate minorities or browns, but she was afraid of them. Now, if I stoked that fear, I could have made her hate them. I actually prevented her from hating because she was given this false impression of black, brown, and minorities, or as most white people call it, ghetto. Well, we called it ghetto too, but I caressed that fear of hers and I showed her the truth. There's nothing to be afraid of unless you're crossing lines. And I'm not even talking about territory. That kind of thing still exists, but I mean, it's very rare that you'll see a gang standing on a line waiting for you to cross it. They're not children like that. So I took her fear and misunderstood and misinformed, and I corrected it. So she stopped hating blacks or browns or ghettos because of fear. She's like, wow, they're literally like us. Durr. Well, great googa mooga, that dizzy bitch. So the problem is, just like with Black Lives Matter movement, that American whites and sheltered from the ghetto people, because there's blacks or other nationalities that or races that were sheltered from the ghetto. They don't know what it's like to live down here or down there. I'm in my own variation of South Jersey ghetto, but we're not going to go there. But when George Floyd hit the market, so to speak, the media market, and became viral all over for what had happened to him, then the white American and the sheltered American were like, what? It's really that bad? Wow. And I don't want to use the word woke, but they came to the realization that it's not all lies. It's not all just children trying to get revenge on their father or master. It was truth. They were marginalized, abused, and murdered without any punishment. Now, they're doing everything they can to make sure George Floyd's murderers do what they gotta do when it comes to time and punishment. But no guarantees, especially not in the white world. Now, on the Cuomo thing, not any more than Trump. Like I said, I'm not about party. About truth. Now, if he's guilty, he should do the same crime and time as Trump if he was guilty or proven guilty for whatever he did or did. That's just the way it goes. There's no point picking a party, because then you become a sycophant that follows Trump. Who's getting desperate right now. Now, back to cultural wars. My son is a different culture than me. He has my culture, my experiences, and my knowledge, okay? But he's another generation, and every generation gets a different culture. Like, in my day, oh wow, that made me sound old. In my day, it was always OD. You so OD, dude. Don't OD, chill. My son, on the other hand, his generation is growing up with OP and many others. But OP and OD mean the exact same thing, but they're different words. So, that's his generation, that's his culture. When I said OD to him once, he's like, what? What the hell is that, Daddy? So I explained to him overdose or overdo it. And he's like, oh, well, we say OP, which for those of you who don't know, that's overpowered. Same thing as overdoing it, meaning putting too much power in or doing too much. But that's his culture. And we each have to watch our old culture get melded into a new one. Like, you know, back in the day, so to speak, wearing your pants under your ass cheek was a thing. They still try doing it, but now they do it with skinny jeans. I mean, it got so bad that they made a law that you can get fined for having your pants below your ass. But we're always going to have a culture war, no matter what. Me and my brothers grew up in the same mud, and we spilled the same blood, and we still are two different cultures. Have to be. We're two different people. We share our unique culture together, but my culture and his culture mingle. So, for instance, the brother I refer to happens to be black. He's into fried chicken and buffalo chicken. I really not. Even before I lost my teeth, I wasn't into it. But he is. Hot stuff really wasn't for me. I like some spice, but it has to be very nice. Not just, do me a favor, throw some gasoline in a match on my food for me. Yeah. It's not that I can't really take it, so to speak, but it's just, I don't like the way it tastes because it takes away the taste in my eyes. I want all the flavors I put in to ring. I don't want one overpowering another. Just perfect melding. It's like sex in my mouth and stomach. Anyway. But does that mean anything about him versus me? No. You got to take the verses out of every scenario, and it almost solves every problem. When you treat something like a battle between two people, rivals or otherwise, you already cause a conflict. So, putting verse between anything automatically causes a controversy and conflict. Conflict leads to some kind of battle. That battle can ensue. It's just a progressive movement where you start off, no, Mets suck, no, Yankees suck, to fuck you, you piece of shit Mets lover. What? Fuck you, you stupid Yankee pig. And as you can see, it can progress, and it normally does. That's what happens at sporting events. But it happens with everything. Democrat versus Republican. Bore me. It should never be about Democrat versus Republican. It's supposed to be about Americans. It's supposed to be about the human race. And again, there goes the culture war. Now, Republicans are Christians. So are Democrats. But we're not going to sit here and deny that Republicans are hardcore Christians, man and woman, not man on man or boys or girls. No, man on woman. Listen, you want to argue sex with me? That's fine. The true factor is, for the procreation of our civilization, it has to be man and woman, naturally. There's multiple ways for a woman to get pregnant. That does not require natural impregnation. That's even a word. Should be a word. So, a lesbian woman or a lesbian couple can get pregnant. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually have a way that they can get pregnant and share genetics with the baby. Because a surrogate, their DNA, okay, is part of the child, even though the egg isn't theirs. But during the cooking process, the child steals some of their DNA, and from the original egg donor, plus the sperm from the male. All three DNAs are in one child. I think that's pretty cool. Family's a family, right? As long as you teach your family values of any good ones. And who you have sex with and who you marry is not a family value. Sorry. Family value is how you value your family. Hence the two words. Now, husband and wife, wife and wife, husband and husband can have the same family values that a family should have because they are one. Their sexual preference is no different of an argument than chocolate versus vanilla. If your family likes all chocolate and my family likes all vanilla, does that mean we don't have family values compared to you or you compared to us? No, it doesn't. So, family values is how you value your family and show respect to that family. It's not how you create it. It's how you treat it. This is not bad tea. Pure leaf, extra sweet tea. But it's not soda. I actually think it's sweeter than soda. So, in jest, we gotta stop trying to fight for power. Power should be spread between everyone. Not one Republican voted for this stimulus package. Not one. Not a half of one, not a quarter of one, not one. The man of the people didn't vote to help the people. The man of the working class, because that's their no bullshit, not the rich, the working class. Wait a minute, you don't get donations from the working class. You get millions of dollars from the millionaire club. So they're trying to steer the working class, the blue collar, away from the Democratic Party. Good luck. Especially after you just told the blue collars go fuck themselves as they're drowning in debt, needing food, got rent to pay. You just told them, fuck you. By not voting for the stimulus package, not one of you. If it was at least one of you, we could go, okay, it was bipartisan-ish. But no. Not one. And all you did was vote against it. Even though you knew you had no chance of stopping it. You could have just voted for it just to save face. But no. In the face of knowing you were going to lose anyway, you wanted the world to know you don't care about your fellow Americans. Right, Ted Cruz? So in just, It's now 2 a.m. and I will continue this in Culture Wars 2. Hopefully, we'll get some comments and hopefully have a conversation. So far, nobody wants to talk. Am I that fucking scary? Like, seriously. Well, you're not going to tell me anyways, because if I am that scary, you're not going to want to talk to me because they're going to bite your fucking head off over the internet. I'm not that hungry. So on that note, we need to find peace by understanding there's no point in war. We can find a common ground if we're willing. Because we're definitely able, we're just not willing. So on that note, y'all have a good night or a good morning, and I'll catch you in episode 2. Episode 2 in the series of 2. Probably come out Friday. Leave a comment, let me know if you want me to go live so you can bitch at me directly. On that note, peace.